In today's video, we're going to be looking at Newcastle United's run-in. We're going to be looking at each of the 7 fixtures that are left and whether Newcastle United are going to qualify for European football next season. Newcastle have picked up a bit of form in recent weeks and have put themselves in a position where they can qualify for either the Europa Conference or the Europa League itself. It is possible. We've got 7 fixtures to go, and actually the fixtures are looking not too bad overall for Newcastle. We do have a couple of tricky ones in there, but overall we should be quite pleased with the fixtures that we've got. So here's how this is going to work. I've got all our fixtures here. I'm going to tell you whether I think we're going to win the game, draw the game, or lose the game. We're going to add up how many points I think we'll end up with by the end of the season, and then I'm going to compare that to previous seasons to see whether that points total that I predict will be enough to secure 7th or even 6th this season and qualification for European football next season. So first up, we play Spurs this weekend at 12:30 at St James's Park. I think this is actually our toughest game that we have remaining, and for me, Spurs are in good form. They're playing really well. They're chasing Champions League football. I'm hoping that we win this game, but if I'm doing this with my head rather than my heart, I actually believe that we're probably going to lose the game to Tottenham, unfortunately, at the weekend. I think they'll be up for a bit of revenge after last season, and they are playing well at the moment. So I think no points from the Spurs game. Let's move on then. So the next game that we've got, we do have a game in Man United, which I'll talk about later. It's not scheduled yet. That would have been the next one after Spurs, but our actual next scheduled game after Spurs is Crystal Palace away. I think that this is a really good opportunity to build on the win we got against Fulham away from home. We haven't won loads of away games this season. Now, that could still be a factor coming into the end of the season, obviously, because we've got quite a few away games left, but I feel quite good about this one. I feel like we could have the beating of Palace. It's always a tough game against them, but I do think that we will actually beat Palace. So I think I'm going to put Newcastle United for 3 points against Crystal Palace. Okay, after that, it's then Sheffield United at home. This, if any of the games that are left is what you would describe as a home banker, then you would hope that Sheffield United at home would be that game. I would love to think that we would win that game, and I think we'll probably win that game fairly comfortably. We obviously beat them 8-0 earlier in the season at Bramall Lane. I don't think we'll win 8-0 again, but I do think we will beat Sheffield United, and we will get the 3 points against them. We then follow that up with a game away at Burnley. Now, Burnley have struggled all season pretty much, and I don't see a massive issue going to Turf Moor. It'll be a hard game, yeah, but I think, again, we'll have the beating of them. We definitely won our last game at Turf Moor as well a couple of seasons ago on the final day of the season. I just think we'll have too much for Burnley, even with the injury issues we've still got going on. So I'm going to predict another win for us there, which is a bit surprising, but, you know, this is what I think will happen. Okay, then we're back to St James's Park against Brighton. Now, Brighton have always been a bit of a tricky team for us, actually, and I don't think we will go all the rest of the season unbeaten, which is why I'm predicting against Brighton at home. I think it'll be another one of those frustrating home games where we probably should win, but we might end up just drawing the game. So I'm going to put us down for 1 point against Brighton. That leaves us with Brentford away, which is actually our last game of the season. However, I will get onto the Man United game soon. I haven't forgotten that. So Brentford away is our final game of the season. Now, this one is potentially tricky because they could be fighting for their lives. They're going to be potentially in a relegation fight on the last day. It's unlikely at this point, but it's a possibility that that might happen. So they might be needing something on the last day of the season, which could make our job a little bit harder. But we might also need something on the last day of the season because we might want to try and finish 5th, 6th or 7th. So we might need to go into this game and say, you know, win to secure 6th or 7th or win and jump above someone. And I think we will get the job done. I think we will finish the season with a win. And I do think we will take the 3 points against Brentford. That leaves us with the rearranged match against Man United left to figure out. Now, this is a tricky one because obviously we went there earlier in the season in the League Cup and we beat them comfortably, but it was a very different period of time that. A lot's happened in our season since then and a lot's happened in their season since then. Man United are sort of struggling but also have a bit of form going. They're a really funny team. You don't know which Man United you're going to be playing against. I actually think we'll go to Old Trafford though whenever we replay this game, and I think as long as we don't lose to Man United, that could actually be the key to finishing potentially above them. So I'm going to put us down for a point at Old Trafford, 1 point down at Manchester United. So what does that mean? If you add up all of the points I think we'll get, which is 4 wins and 2 draws, which would equal 14 more points, you add that to the amount of points we already have, and that would leave us with 61 points at the end of the season. The question is 61 points enough to secure 7th or 6th? Well, let's look at previous seasons, shall we? So last season, in 6th place with Brighton, and they finished with 62 points. So on that basis, we would miss out on 6th. Villa finished 7th on 61 points. So if it were to repeat itself this season, we would finish 7th and we would get that Europa Conference slot. 2021-2022 season, Man United finished 6th with 58 points and 7th was West Ham with 56 points. So if we were to get 61 points based on that result, then we would obviously get European football, which is a really good thing. And if we just go back one more season, I know 7th wasn't a thing in terms of qualifying for Europe in the 2020-21 season. West Ham finished on 65 points and Spurs finished on 62 in 7th place. All in all, what that means is, if you kind of average that out, 61 points would probably put us in a European position, I think. And I think we have the opportunity here to salvage something from this season, because although it's been a frustrating season in a lot of ways, we could end it on a nice high and finish 7th or even 6th. I do actually think there's a pretty good chance we could leapfrog Man United and West Ham to that 6th place. Man United could pick up a bit of form before the end of the season and make it very difficult for us, but we're not that far behind them at the moment anyway, so we'll see what it is, and we have to play them, and that's the key there. I think as long as we don't lose to Man United whenever it is we play them, I think that could be the key between finishing above them and finishing below them. And let's be honest, it would be really, really lovely to finish above Man United once because last season we probably should have done that. I think we should have finished 3rd last season rather than 4th, but they pipped us to that, so it'd be nice. Even if the prize is lesser, it would be nice to kind of pip them to 6th place and condemn them to the Conference League. Although, to be fair, they could potentially be in the Europa League if they win the FA Cup. But that's a whole nother story. So what do you think? That's what I want to know. Do you agree with me? Do you think we'll finish on 61 points? Or do you think we'll win more games than I've predicted? Or do you think we'll lose more than I've predicted? Do you think we're going to miss out on Europe? Do you think we're going to make it to Europe? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you really soon for another video.